You either lead with truth or hide behind excuses. Well, this past year taught me which one wins. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Leaders Realm podcast. I'm your host, Tony Cammarata. And today, guys, I just want to take you on a little journey with me over the past year. We're celebrating the 1-year anniversary today of the podcast. So 1 year ago, I grabbed the microphone, I hit record, and I launched a mission. The mission's called the Leaders Realm. Not because I had all the answers, but because I knew that there were conversations that needed to happen. The kind that pull no punches, the kind that get under your skin in a good way, and the kind that they just call you up and not hype you up. And today, guys, I really, really want to take the time to celebrate with you, celebrate a year of truth, a year of growth, 1 year of showing up, even when it wasn't easy. And man, there were times that I didn't see myself doing this, and well, I'll get into the accountability part a little bit later. But so whether you've been here since day one or this is your first listen, welcome. Welcome to the Leaders Realm. In this behind the scenes episode, we're going to take a look at the journey, the lessons, the highs, the hard truths, the lows, and even what's coming next. So sit back, grab that coffee, and celebrate with me. So guys, today I'm going to go unscripted today. And only because I really, really want to just share my heart with you. I want to talk to you about a journey. I want to talk to you about a calling, what it feels like to have that pull, that nudge at your heart, that knock. You know, when I started this, I wasn't chasing followers. What I was chasing is impact. See, I was tired of the surface level conversations about leadership, tired of the highlight reels, tired of all that hustle porn without any real heart, you know? And in today's world that we live in, man, there's just so much fake crap out there. From the people that you meet, the stories that you read, the videos that we watch on social media. You know, I wanted to create something that hit home, something that's real. And more importantly, is I wanted to create a space where we can openly talk about fear. And I mean real fear. A space where we talk about ownership, mindset, legacy, and becoming the kind of leader of your life, your family, and your mission that it deserves. That was and still is my vision, guys. When I decided to go down this path of podcasting, I had no idea what I was doing. All I know is up until that point, you know, I was struggling a lot with feeling unfulfilled, feeling that no matter how hard I worked, no matter how successful I was, I'd go to bed at night and just feel completely empty. And it wasn't until I started on my journey getting certified under Maxwell leadership that my eyes began to open, my heart began to open. And I remember going through my interview process for that and meeting with the counselors on it. You know, my whole goal was I was going to become a business consultant. I was going to work with younger entrepreneurs that, you know, were looking to expand their business, maybe create exit strategies. That's where my head was. But obviously it wasn't where my heart was. And you see some of these folks that I was interviewing with, they saw it, but I couldn't. And what they said to me was this. They said, one guy in particular, his name was Mark. He said, Tony, I know the path that you think you want to be on by becoming a certified Maxwell leadership coach, but I really want you to keep an open heart and an open mind. And I said, yeah, absolutely. What are you thinking? He says, you know, I see you as a people builder. And I thought, yeah, okay, whatever. This has got to be a sales line, right? Well, I have to tell you that going through my certification, the process, and then actually going to the annual conference, the leadership conference where we actually got certified, I walked out of there that weekend with a totally different attitude. What God kept telling me was that you need to start building your legacy. And I don't mean the worldly legacy. I mean the spiritual legacy. The legacy that says you're making a difference. You're stepping up where others won't, and you're making a difference in the lives of people. And that sat with me, and I thought, why me? And then I remember this just running through my head continuously. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. And over the past few years, in talking with people on a professional level and in my career and other avenues, I've heard some people come back and say to me, "Man, you need to start doing some training videos, or you just have one of those voices that just resonates with people, and you're just people. It's just comfortable listening to you." And it wasn't until I was invited to a luncheon for a nonprofit. It was a hospital system here in Florida. And I was invited to the luncheon. It was myself, the project manager of this new hospital that was being built, and the executive director of the nonprofit. And I remember we're sitting there having a conversation over lunch, and she stops me mid-sentence and she says, "Have you ever been in broadcasting?" And I said, "Well, no, ma'am. Why is that?" She says, "I have to tell you," she said, "I spent 25 years in broadcasting working for PBS in the broadcast room. And you have one of those voices." And I said, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And we moved on, and we, went on with the rest of the day and the lunch and the things that they had planned. But, that just kept sitting with me and sitting with me and sitting with me. And I thought, well, maybe this is the answer. Maybe this is the answer. And I remember sitting here in my place late at night, just praying and contemplating and spending time with God and saying, "Man, is this where you want me to be? Is this where you want me to be?" And then I went to a networking event and met a young guy who was a podcaster. And in fact, I've had him on the show. And we got to talking. He's like, "Man," he goes, "you're the real deal." I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, "Authenticity, man." He says, I can tell that you are real. What I see with you is what you get." So you see, all these pieces started coming together, and they just started churning in my heart. And I'm thinking, all right, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to give this a shot. And being the perfectionist that I am, everything has to be perfect. I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. I wanted to learn software. I wanted to learn all these different things you can do, how you can market your podcast, how you can. And I remember this quiet voice whispering, saying, "I got you. Just do it." And then I ignored it, of course, because that's what I do. And had a meeting with that same gentleman. And we got to talking. I'm telling him all these ideas that I'm kicking around and the potential. And, and he stopped me and said, "Tony, what the hell are you waiting for?" I couldn't answer him. He said, "You need to just do this." So there it was. It was the wake up call that I needed, the push that I needed over the edge. And I launched episode 1. And when I launched that episode, I thought, you are just absolutely out of your mind. I remember sitting there staring at the wall. It was extremely awkward. I felt like I was talking to myself, which I do a lot, but it was a little different this time. And I remember thinking, I can't put this out there. Can't put this out there. I was struggling with the software, trying to edit. I couldn't figure out how to get music in there. My voice was probably crackly and shaky. But then I said, you know what? I made a commitment. That I would do this. And I hit process. And it uploaded. And on May 15th last year, episode 1 of the Leaders Realm podcast was launched. Sorry, guys. I get pretty emotional about this stuff. Because if you knew how real this is, and how much I care about every single one of you guys that listen. There's so much more to life than what you're thinking. There is so much gratification to reaching out and touching someone and helping them change their lives. And boy, we want to talk real. This is real. This is real. So you see, guys, this is all about you. It's all about leaving a legacy, changing the lives of people that are around me. I've learned so much this past year. I've learned so much about consistency, showing up, even when I don't feel like it. You know, there's days that, like, man, I don't even know if this content's going to be any good. And yet, whatever, put it out there. Put it out there. And what happens almost every time, somebody reaches out and says, man, I needed to hear that today. And all that did was it just fuels me to get to the next episode. And some of the episodes I'm fired up about. But every time I hit publish. Why? Because we show up anyway, guys. That's what leaders do. We show up. You know, the other thing I learned is that the microphone has a way of exposing you. You can't fake your way through this. Podcasting holds up a mirror. And I had to ask myself, man, am I really living what I'm preaching? And when I wasn't, I fixed it. Why? Because whether you guys realize it or not, you all have held me accountable. So thank you. And I say this not because you call me or you write to me and say, hey, get to it. Because something happened. When I started to put content out there, a mind shift happened. You see, how can I go on the air week after week, sharing stories, coaching you through strategies, and then live a life that doesn't back up what I'm sharing? There's something about, and I share this all the time. There's something about, if you stand in front of the mirror and you, let me see if I can get this out right. If you stand in front of the mirror and you repeat affirmations to yourself, you're kind of hearing your voice, right? But man, there's something about going to a third-party app on your phone and hearing your voice talking to you. It does something. I mean, there's those days that, I hit that paralysis state. I wake up in a dark place. I don't want to get out of bed. And then I keep thinking to myself, well, what did you say last week? What did you say in that last episode? What did you say 5 episodes ago? And yet it drives me to get up and take action, do something. If I live the opposite of that, if I live the opposite of what I recommend, it'll only make me fall out of integrity. And I can't have that. Another thing that stops me too sometimes is fear. Fear, what I've learned is that fear never, ever leaves. It just nags at you. We just get better. We get better at ignoring the lies. I've done episodes where, man, was that too raw? Am I going to hurt somebody's feelings? Is that too real? But you see, those are the episodes that people message me about. See, the truth cuts, and it cuts deep. But man, does it heal. See, one of the things that I'm learning also is that people are starved for realness. The messages that I get, the emails, the shares, they didn't come from polished lines. They come from the real messy truth when I'm stumbling over myself at times. The other thing I've learned too is, boy, I tell you what, you do something like this and you're going to see all kinds of experts come out of the woodwork. And they're just sitting there waiting. They're waiting to share their opinion of what you should do, how you should do it. But you see, here's the hard truth. They're not me. And I'm not trying to be or interested in being who I'm not. So I just listen and I listen. Then I thank them. I even offer them words of encouragement. And I say, wow, those are some great ideas. Maybe you should host your own show. With a smile, of course. But you get my point, right? There's always an expert out there. If you did like so-and-so, and if you did like that, maybe you're going to get, another 1,000 followers. And I'm not interested in that. My goal in this, guys, is that I touch the life of one person per week. If I can do that, I've accomplished my mission. Some episodes that I've done, they still hit different each time I listen to them. And yes, I go back and listen to them. All the way back to episode 1, strategies for activating a beast mode mindset. That was me planting the flag. It wasn't just me speaking to the audience. I was speaking to myself. Even though that episode was a complete mess. Again, learning how to edit, the volumes. I mean, I even had people calling me for the first few episodes saying, hey, man, the content was great, but there's something wrong with the audio. I turned it up because I couldn't hear it, and then all of a sudden the sound would be blasting. But you see, I put it out there anyway. And the point that I'm trying to make to you is I know that there's something churning in your heart right now that you're waiting. You're waiting to get it perfect. And I'm telling you guys, don't wait another minute. Episode 15, the courage to be real. Probably one of the most vulnerable moments on the show. And I know it hit home. It hit home because the message is poured in. Then what about confidence versus arrogance? That one sparked all kinds of conversations. Because walking in confidence with humility, really? See, that's a dance that most people will never, ever, ever learn. Then I got to interview Dr. Aaron Norton. Man, what a powerhouse. Talking about imposter syndrome, CBT, how it brought the science, and he brought the science and the strategy together. Then one of the most recent ones that really caught fire. Entrepreneur versus wantrepreneur. Man, I heard from so many of you finally drawing that line between talking and building. Now, guys, I could go on and on and on, but every episode taught me something. And my prayer is that it taught you something also. This journey, guys, it tests me every day. Every day there's a test. Whether it's just listening to people, a lot of my content comes from me being out at networking events or just having conversations with clients. And it just sparks. Something just goes, you need to talk about that. So I'll write it down and I start doing some research and start drawing for some of my own experiences, because people will tell you what they need to hear. And sometimes coming over a podcast is a lot more palatable than you sitting there and telling them. It's forcing me to grow. It's teaching me to refine my voice, to stretch my mind. Most important, to stop hiding behind perfection and truly start standing in my purpose. There were weeks that I just didn't feel like recording. Weeks I wondered, am I making a difference? What am I doing? What am I doing? But every time I got a message from somebody, and every time someone said, man, I needed that episode, it reminded me. It reminded me of why I started down this path. My goal is to be as obedient as I possibly can to my calling. I've learned that I'm not here to entertain. I don't want to be that guy, that cookie cutter podcaster that's out there, the entertainer. I'm here to awaken people. I'm here to get you off your butt and make something happen. And it's like I said earlier, if I could do that for just one person a week, then this microphone, it's worth its weight in gold. Every time. It's been a great journey, guys. It's been an interesting journey. It's been a learning journey. You know, people ask me, well, man, where are you going to go from here? What are your plans? You know, and that's another thing. I literally, this is the first time in my life that I'm embarking upon a business venture that I don't have an exit strategy. I am literally going day by day, from idea to idea. And the cool thing about it is, I just wait. I wait to hear that whisper. This is what you need to talk about this week. This is the path that I want you to take. Learn to listen. Learn to listen, guys. So where do we go from here? I can't make any promises, guys. I can tell you that I'd love to do some bigger interviews, take some deeper dives, get really, really raw with some truths. Some of the things that I'm working on behind the scenes, more tools, more frameworks, more fire to help you lead with intention in business, in life, help you build a legacy. I've launched my live coaching business. That's beginning to take off. You know, the coaching is designed around real-time transformation. I'm in the process of building self-guided and group courses. There's some other great things on my board for future growth. But see, the Leader's Realm, that's my passion. This is my passion project. And I really want to expand it. I want to expand it with more in-depth content, possibly some private content soon as well. The website, you can go there and visit. You'll see different types of tools and coaching concepts. It's tonyc.coach. If you want to support the podcast itself, you can go into the Tribe Shop. I've created a Tribe Shop. I've got some really cool T-shirts and tanks, and hopefully soon some other things. I'm pulling some of the quotes from the podcast, putting them on shirts. Love for you to stop in there. So all I can say to you is this, guys. Get ready, because what's coming next is going to change the game. You know, it's been a year, and it feels like it was the blink of an eye. Countless conversations, concepts, ideas. And I got to tell you, the energy that I've got right now, I'm just getting started. So guys, if the podcast helps you, do me a favor. Share it with as many people as you can. Be sure to leave me a review. Reach out to me. But more importantly, guys, if you're stuck in the mud and you're ready to get unstuck, let me help you. Visit my website, tonyc.coach. I've got tools. Clarity's waiting for you. Schedule a call with me. Shoot me an email. You can follow me on Instagram, tonyc_coach. But more important than all of this stuff, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this journey with me. You're not just a listener to me. You are part of the realm. You become part of my family. And my plan, guys, is not to play small. To lead with purpose, build with courage, and we can rise together. So until next time, this is Tony Cammarata. And remember, always stay fast, stay fluid, stay flexible. be the absolute best you can be. Because I promise you, your best is yet to come.